we are back for another 31 days of Halloween, and to no one's surprise, I'm doing a Barbie makeup tutorial because there's about 8.5 billion people in the world and they're all dressing up as Barbie for Halloween. So, here is my take on it. It's a little bit more like the movie than the actual plastic doll. So, first thing I'm doing is concealing all the little spots on my face, including my eyelids. Normally I wouldn't do this, but to get that really matte, flawless look, I'm covering up everything super full coverage. For the eyebrows, I'm using a pencil to create those really defined hair-light strokes. I am using a brown because even though Barbie is blonde, all dolls basically have either black or brown eyebrows. So I am doing that. I am just going through really quickly, adding little strokes and going up with them so that they look drawn on, and then blending them together a little bit with a spoolie. So now I'm going back in and defining the brow even further with just a little bit of brown eyeshadow. This is just to give my arches and tail more definition because I really don't have that much of a defined brow. And then again, just going in and spoolieing it so it's nice and blended. Now, for the eyes, there's a lot of room for interpretation here, but you're going to want to set your eyes up like this. You're going to need a light brown matte if you are as pale as I am. If not, you're going to need a darker brown. Just work with whatever fits your skin tone. But you're going to want it to be matte, and you're going to want a good brush that blends into the crease because we're going to take that flat surface and give it a little bit of contour, but not too much because Barbie eyelids are still flat. They don't have sunken in eyes. So after you blend that out, take the next shade darker on a smaller brush and blend it just into the outer corners. This is going to give you that lid effect again, make it look very subtle, very painted on, but you're just going to keep that on the outer corners. If you bring it over too far, it'll look too deep inset and kind of not quite the Barbie effect that you're going to want. So for the lids, feel free to match whatever version of Barbie you're doing to the color. If you're doing one from the 80s, use blue. You can use a hot pink. The 90s one is more of what I grew up with and what I am doing. You're going to want something pink and shimmery and sparkly. I've seen ones with like some frosty silvers. You can go crazy with it. Go with your interpretation, obviously, especially whatever matches your costume. You're going to want to use, the only colors I can't think that I've ever seen are like red or black or orange. So you're going to want to stay on the lighter end of the spectrum. And then in the inner corners, I just dotted a little bit of shimmery white. Now to make our eyes look super doll-like, bright, and awake, you're going to want a tight line. This is one of my least favorite things to do in makeup. I never do it because I don't like it. It's too close to my eyes. But you're just going to take your pencil, put it right on that lash line on the inner half of your eyelid, and just run it right across there very carefully. Try not to use a pencil that is too sharp. And then for the eyeliner on top, we're just going to do a very small, simple wing. Barbie dolls don't usually have a big, giant, dramatic wing unless it's a special edition. And they usually don't even have really a wing at all. But to make this fit more of the movie's aesthetic, I did add a little bit of extra glamour with a wing. Again, you can use different colors for this if you're trying to match a particular era. I think at one point there was a Barbie with like bright blue eyeliner. You can do that. I just use classic black to kind of fit the motif. Then I threw on nothing too heavy for the mascara, just a little bit of Lash Paradise, really focusing it on the outside, and then I threw some light, natural, wispy lashes on. You're not going to want anything too heavy. Of course, Barbie's eyelashes are drawn on. They don't really have texture or have any 3D effects, so just go with something light and natural. In terms of foundation, you're going to want to do the exact opposite of what you did with the lashes. You're going to want something heavy, you're going to want full coverage, you're going to want something that just gives you absolutely fake looking skin. So I used a lot more foundation than I normally would. I really focused around the nose, just really getting rid of any texture that I may have. The chin, I really wanted it to have that pointed kind of sculpted look that she has. And around the eyes, keeping it bright and, vibrant. So I just did a little concealer on the outer edge and on the inner edge, and I did a couple of layers. I did a little bit of buildup there. I put a little dot on the end of my nose and down the center because we want that very pointy Barbie nose. And then, of course, the Cupid's bow and on my chin because we're bringing all those features that do have dimension out, which is what makes Barbie dolls look so real, is the different highlights and stuff. Doll makeup is not hard, it's just tedious. So if you're doing Barbie this year and you think you can't do it, you absolutely can. It just might take a practice run or two to get your look figured out. So now we're finishing off those doll eyes. You're going to want to take a white eyeliner. You would really want to use a pencil. I didn't have one, so I used a liquid liner, but liquid liner works too. You are going to want to take that right underneath the wing of your eyeliner and put it right in the waterline of your eye. If you've been doing makeup for a while, you know this trick. It makes your eyes look really round and a lot bigger than they are. I used to do this on like a daily basis, but I don't anymore. And then underneath that white line, you're going to take a very light brown shadow and create the new waterline of your eye. So basically, you're just underlining the lines that you just drew. After that, you're going to want to draw a couple bottom lashes in. Very light, very subtle, and just on the outer corner. I did about 4. That seems to be the standard number for the modern Barbie doll. And then contouring. I did a very light nose contour, barely any product on my brush. I just went straight down. It didn't go up into the bridge of the nose. Didn't create any specific shape. Of course, you can give yourself more of the button nose if you want or need to for whatever doll you're emulating. But I just went straight down. And then for my cheeks, I really kept the contour towards the back. I didn't want to get too skeletal. I just wanted to look like I had really high cheekbones. And of course, with the blush added, it creates that kind of big, round, apple-y cheek look. So I just blend it in my contour really well because there's not super harsh lines on any of the dolls. Everything's very airbrushed. If you have airbrushed makeup, honestly, that's probably the best way to go. But I don't know how many people do airbrush makeup anymore. It was big for a hot minute in like the mid 2010s, and then it just like went away. So for blush, I'm using a cool toned pink, of course, and this is just what is most natural on my skin. You can go with whatever gives you a natural blush. I would stick with powders though. I would stray away from the liquids because they're just a little too harsh. For highlight, I put on the bridge of my nose and on the highest points of my cheeks and around my eyes, again, just to get that Barbie face shape. A little bit on the Cupid's bow, and all set with the highlighter. So for my lip liner, I went with a darker pink because usually all of their lip liners are darker than their lipstick. And then I went with probably one of the pinkish shades I have that doesn't stray into being like a neon. So this one is from NYX. It's a matte liquid lip. I've had it for a really long time. I like it a lot. I think it's called Tea and Cookies, actually. So after that, obviously, I put on my pink shirt and my big blonde wig and added a couple dots of gloss and did not blend them, so it gave that sheen that the dolls have. But really, that is it. This is just a basic Barbie look. Play with it, make it your own, add whatever you need to add. But this is just a base for you guys. So I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you check out the other videos, and I'll see you in the next one.